Moving right along to public affairs, Commissioner Cherico.
We're a few minutes early, so what I'll just do is I'll go through the three reports first before we take any votes on them, just so we can get all the information we need. Good evening, everyone. So let's take a look at the reports for the month of March, and let's start with property maintenance. And Alan, are you here? Yep, there he is.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We got you.
All right. Good evening.
Anything you want to highlight in this report?
Yeah, I got a few things just really quickly if you guys give me a moment. So, I guess on my report, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was that we still have that open position. We reposted it, so we're still looking for a candidate to fit. It's a very challenging position to fit. So we're still looking to fill that position. Also, we installed some new exterior security lights over at Curtis. This was a big project that we kind of went in with Jam, and Jam actually covered half of the cost for the lights. So that was huge. And we just did the install in house. If you see on my report, a lot of time went to like the de-winterizations of the parks, playgrounds, water fountains, different things like that. I know that was a topic of discussion at last month's meeting, where a few residents wanted to know when we would have that on. So all of the parks are up and running. The drinking water fountains are back on. Everything is good. And then we got a little jump on pool season. Since it's only two of us, I wanted to make sure that we are on schedule. So we started at Conklin with Public Works. The pool is actually drained, then power washed, and we are moving on to Glenside. But at Glenside, we are having a bit of water issue. I guess with the new construction of the bridge, one of the water lines was damaged, so we are in the process of fixing that. I don't think it wasn't the bridge company. I think it might have been could have been Aqua or Pico, but the water line was damaged, and between Public Works and Bo, we came up with a plan. We'll work on that on Monday, so hopefully we'll have the water back on at Glenside over there as soon as possible. So, also one other thing, if you see on my report, I wanted to highlight. There's a photo right under Bill and one of the new property maintenance guys, Ron. That's a like a plaque that was built. Ron built it. He drew it out by hand, cut it up, and it's for our Arbor Day. So that's our new Arbor Day plaque. It's hanging in the administration building. So it's a brand new piece of artwork for the township. So I just wanted to highlight that. That's a new piece. It's super awesome. So
Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, uh, Commissioner Jeremy Walls.
Hey, Karen. I just wanted to know if there was any update on the Elkins Park roof. We talked about it in the last meeting, and I'm just curious if you've gotten those proposals back and what your thoughts are.
Did we want Manager Elliott to take this since she sent out the email?
Sure. Excuse me. Both Alan and I can tag team this.
Okay.
I'll let Alan just talk about the proposals that were received. There were proposals received for full replacement of the roof, kind of a partial replacement that Alan can probably provide better information on, and then some patchwork. All come at three different costs. And then I'll follow up with some recommendations and kind of where we stand financially on that.
so thanks, Allison. So yeah, we've received three separate proposals, just like Allison mentioned. One is for the full replacement. That one, I think you guys have the copies of it. It came in at a little over 244,000. It comes from the CoStar, Fender, and they are proposing to pretty much take exactly what we have over there. It's a flat rubber roof. It's about 12,000 square foot, and remove all of the rubber, all of the seams, everything that's there, and just put a brand new roof down. It comes with a 20-year warranty on all material. The second quote was a patch. It's like a roll-on sealant. And then that company, their proposal was to take this product, roll the entire roof, and just give us like paint it pretty much. And then that turns to like a hard material, and that comes with a warranty as well. And then the third proposal was just a temporary patch. This patch, nothing's guaranteed, doesn't come with a warranty. It's just the company coming up, site visual inspection to see what they can find, any leaks they can find, and then kind of patch as they find anything, when they find anything. So those are the three proposals that we've received so far.
Okay, so excuse me. So we reviewed financially where we stand and came up with kind of the following recommendation. Our recommendation is at the staff level to fully replace the roof. The replacement cost of $244,000 roughly is a lot less than we expected it to be. Back in say like 2017, 2018, we had received quotes or estimates from architects putting bid specifications together for replacement. And it was going to be roughly like $300,000 to $400,000 in 2020. And that included replacement of the insulation on the roof. The contractor had evaluated the insulation and said it was actually in fairly good shape. So this is kind of a pretty good middle ground, we think. We looked at our finances to see how we can kind of adjust some of our projects, and looking at where our projects are, we feel that a lot of the costs that we were budgeting for this year are kind of being split more toward the end of the year into next year, and we can repurpose from some other projects to help accommodate this expense, since this is something that we did not budget for. And then looking at kind of the longevity of the building and kind of our uses and plans, we know that we do have a facility study and facilities planning. But I don't anticipate that we would be ready to make any decisions on this building, or even if we did make decisions on the building, that there's still some useful life in this building. So we feel that fully replacing the roof and getting 20 years out of it will be very cost effective for us. We don't want to really be trying to 2 to 5 or even 10 years down the road kind of be in the middle of this conversation again. So that would be our recommendation, is for the full replacement.
Also, Allison, I'm sorry, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, it's a 20-year warranty on the material that's used, but with maintenance to the roof, to the seams, as time goes on, that 20-year warranty, well, the life of the roof could definitely last way more than 20 years. So I don't want you to hear the 20-year and say, all right, so in 20 years we'll need another roof. No, with the correct maintenance, that roof could last you 30 plus years if maintained correctly. So just wanted to throw that in there too. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And then hopefully avoiding spending time with Alan and his crew maintaining it over the years. There's some cost avoidance. The other good thing about this proposal, as mentioned earlier, this is a CoStarz contractor, so that we don't have to go to bid. So we anticipate we'll be able to get through the process faster, rather than the $80,000 project. The middle ground and would require a bid, since it is not a CoStarz vendor.
I'm thrilled to hear that it is more than half what I thought it would be. I mean, when we were talking earlier this year, we definitely thought it was going to be over $500,000. That's incredible. And I'm also thrilled to hear that you think that there's a lot of life left in the building, and that this is a fiscally sound and worthy investment. So thanks for the update. That's really good news.
Commissioner Stein.
I just had another question about Alan's report that's unrelated to the EP roof. So if Commissioner Areman's question is related to EP, he should go.
It is, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to move on this recommendation, what do we think, Manager Elliott and Mr. Brown, the time frame would be to commence this project and ensure that we literally stop the leaking at this building?
So, Allison, I'll jump in and take this one if you don't mind. So after reaching out to the company, we built a strong rapport with one of the representatives from the company back and forth on this roof, and the earliest that they actually told us that we could get it done was June the 1st. But after several conversations with the rep that came out, I talked to the vice president today. They said that the sooner we give them the okay, they will start ordering materials. I stress the urgency on how it's a public library and it's damaging our books, computers, and it's impacting our residents. So they said that they would try their hardest to push it to the top of the list. So possibly within 2 to 3 weeks, we can start working on this project after we give them the okay. And then the timeline to have it complete should be about 2 weeks, barring if they don't run into anything unexpected. So the sooner we give them the okay, then they can jump right on it.
That's helpful information. Mr. Chairman, I'm wondering if we want to allow Commissioner Jeremy Walls to make a motion on this.
Are we able to make a motion on this if this wasn't advertised for more than 24 hours prior to
Can
our
I make
meeting?
a motion to add it to next week's agenda?
I think we can make a motion recommending it to the full board and then put it on the board put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
Can I do that, please? Make a
motion
to the board. I made it. It's made. Someone vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I ask one question before we leave this subject? Sorry, Commissioner Stein. Will the library remain open while the roof is being repaired?
So as of now, there hasn't been any mention of the building being inaccessible during working hours. So unless they run into something unexpected, we should still be able to keep the library open during the project.
Need to make sure of that.
I will double check with the rep. I'll shoot him a text as soon as we get off this meeting.
Good.
Yeah, and then if there's any way to accelerate it by the week, I know we don't officially vote on it till next week, but perhaps Alan, perhaps you could tell them that it was passed unanimously this evening, and I don't want to say a formality, but it's that it's your opinion it'll pass next week. I'll put you on the spot.
We can get the process started. Absolutely.
I understand. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, now Commissioner Stein, who's been so patiently waiting.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just curious, Alan, there was a bunch of plumbing repairs listed for the police building and the public works building. If you could give us a little info on what those are. Are they routine or something going
on? So police, we've been working on South 3. We've been working on there for some time. So I've been in contact with different vendors. We finally have a vendor that's going to replace South 3. The plumbing in South 3, as well as, there's, unfortunately, our infrastructure is getting older by the day. So there's something that requires our attention, whether it's a leaking urinal at Public Works or a leaking toilet or a leaking water line or something like that. There's always something, but if you like, I could definitely send you over like our list of plumbing that we've done last month, so you can kind of go through it if necessary. I have all of each one a more detailed list on what each ticket is, but so if that works for you, I'll be more than happy to send it over.
I'd be happy to look at it, but I was just curious as whether it's like an ongoing issue or a new issue, or this is, I feel like it's something we should probably be discussing so that we're all aware of, as the public is aware of the situation. Yep.
So nothing out there's nothing that is currently going on right now that any large projects, right? So if everything
Okay.
that's were smaller projects that we handle right away, no ongoing issues. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Brown? All right, let's all move on to before we're just going to vote all at once. So before we move on, or let's move on to Parks and Rec, Mr. Salvatore.
Hey everybody, how we doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
Good. So before I talk about very sunny things, I just want to emphasize what Alan just talked about. And as you saw in the report, we went to our state conference in the last month, and I presented on things we're doing in Cheltenham. And that was the fourth time I've done this presentation over the course of the last couple of months. And it is clear that everywhere on the East Coast, especially in the Northeast, are dealing with infrastructure problems. We are not unique. So everyone is kind of chomping at the bit to figure out how we fix these things, because a number of sites have used historical buildings and other things to do recreation, do programming, do police stations, whatever. It's just the nature of being part of the oldest part of the country. So, please know that Alan and I and everyone else, we're working hard to figure some of this stuff out. But it is not an uncommon thing. It's not Cheltenham specific. It is really a national thing, especially on the East Coast. So I just want to make sure that I said that, because I know Alan and his team, they kick butt every day doing what they do. But, it's an uphill climb at times, for sure.
Good feedback.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Speaking of good things, Alan stole my thunder there with the Arbor Day plaque, but Miss Walter, our communications director, challenged me 2 years ago to figure that out, because it was really ugly at the front desk what was going on there with the Arbor Day plaques, and it was ugly. It was slanted and kind of not appetizing to people coming in the building. So when Ron came on, we did challenge him to do that, and he really did knock it out of the park. So folks who come in and they stand at the reception desk, they're greeted to a treat now to see that we've been a tree city for 20 plus years. And, it really is a testament to what those guys do. So I do appreciate that. As far as programming goes, we did our next Cheltenham 250 event. I reported on the Founders Day that happened in March. We had over 200 people there. We did do the Temple Judea event early April, which also got 120 folks there. Wow. Considering it was Good Friday and Passover. That's really good. The good news is that exhibit is going on until July 6th, so plenty of time to go check that out. And if you didn't get a coin, they're over at the museum as well, so you can pick one up at the museum, which is really cool. We did have the 5K last weekend, over 320 runners/walkers. Commissioner Sherry Walls was at a water station with program coordinator Corby. They knocked it out the park, handed out water, but another great kind of public-private partnership there with the Education Foundation, just really bringing good things to the township. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Fight Blight this weekend. We do have some high schoolers participating from the National Honor Society that Kelly will be managing at the high school down Panther Road. And then we have the ribbon cutting at Tookenny at Gimbel Field. So that's exciting. That'll be right after Fight Blight, about 12:30. We do have Goat House Creamery on board to dish out ice cream, which is exciting. If the ribbon cutting wasn't enough, you can come have some ice cream as well. And then finally, kind of piggybacking on the first point about Ron and the Arbor Day situation. Arbor Day is next Friday, April 24th. It will be at Thomas Williams Park at 2 p.m. Please come on out, show your love of trees. We did push it back slightly in the afternoon because the kids have a half a day, so we're hoping to get as many students there as possible. And Commissioner Stein will be on hand as well to give some remarks. So we're excited about that.
What time is that, Bill? Bill, you changed the time. You changed the time.
Well, we talked to the school district commissioner, and they have a half day that day. So in order to get kids there, we pushed it to the afternoon. mean, as much as I love being in front of a camera for ribbon cuttings and events, kids are much prettier than I am.
Pshaw.
So yeah, so if there's questions on the report, happy to answer them, but that's kind of the highlights of what's going on.
Yeah, I'd like to couple questions. So first, I know we saw this on social and I think in an email. Can you just address the programming award, Excellence in Programming Award that the department won?
Yeah, so every year the both the national and the local Parks and Rec associations, whether it's Pennsylvania or the nationwide NRPA, they put out a call for awards. So we strategized back in October, November internally to put a bunch of award nominations forward. And we did nominate 4 different programs for awards, including a Sustainable Park Award for what's going on over at Curtis, but a little too early in that process to get that award. So the one thing that did hit was the repurposing and revitalization of Glenside Hall. One of the things that's really cool about Parks and Rec is the ability to program traditionally non-programmable spaces. And you would think Glenside Hall is a hall for events, right? But we saw the opportunity really early on to do things like pickleball in there, to create an esports lab, to do bingo nights, to do that sort of thing, to really elevate the profile of the space. And quite frankly, we were stuck because Roland shuttered for the winter, Lamont shuttered for the winter. We just needed somewhere to do indoor programming, and that's kind of what we latched onto. And once the ball got rolling downhill, it started to grab momentum, and people really like it. And the awards committee really liked it. And when I talked about it as part of my presentation, people were really excited to see that, oh, we can do stuff like that in our spaces. So pretty neat.
Very cool. We appreciate thinking outside the box and finding ways to bring the community together in spaces that had been underutilized. So we thank you. Any of the other commissioners have any questions? All right. I guess that's it. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, now let's move on to Ms. Walter.
Good evening.
Evening.
The 2 things I wanted to highlight, there is a lot of going on in communications, but specifically communication related, there is the new Ask the Township feature on the website. So we did just put press out, but we did soft launch that the last week of March, and some residents found it on their own. So what it is kind of an internal search engine. It only reads our website, and residents can come and ask a question, and it will propose an answer and some of the links where it found the data for that answer. My one caveat with that is that it's going to be growing with us, this experience. So I'm able to see the engagement on the back end, even if residents, do not leave their contact information and proceed to push the question through. I see what the engine answered that question with. So it helps me to know, did it get it right? Did it get it wrong? And the company that provides that service is called Rept, and they have been tremendous partners so far. So they've been working with IT Director Mike Rubin and myself, and in constant communication about answers that haven't quite hit the mark, so that next time someone asks that question, they will. And then the cool part about that program is that if there's not an answer available on our website, or it just happens to be a very frequent question, staff can make videos to address it. So it's going to, over time, allow our staff, even some of our commissioners, to put a face to township operations and to township decisions, and just make connection even better with our residents. So we're really excited about that. And we are running a communication survey right now as well, and that is mentioned in the newsletter and it's mentioned online, but that is at cheltenhampa.gov/comm, COMM. And we're just trying to get a sense of what is the most impactful way that we're getting the word out there about township programs, events, all of it. Are people still reading the newsletters? Would it be more financially feasible for the township to move to a digital newsletter. So we really want to get a sense of what residents are currently doing and engaging with to be able to make those decisions come the next couple budget seasons. And with that, if there's any other questions on my report, I will take them.
Any questions? All right. Awesome. I appreciate it. We'll be back to you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Stay right there. All right, commissioners, I'm going to make a motion for the receipt of the reports for the month of March of 2026 for property maintenance, parks and rec, and public information. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to the receipt of the committee meeting minutes. First, we have the Historical Commission. Any questions or comments about that? I should have also asked the public if they have any questions as well. There were no meetings for the Twinning Committee or the EDTF or the Civil Rights Task Force, but there was also a library board meeting. Any questions or comments about that? Commissioners, public? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the receipt of the committee meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's move on to old business. Number 3A, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance replacing Chapter 5, Administration of Government, Article 7, Advisory Boards and Commissions, Section 549N, Wyncote Board of Historical Architectural Review, with a new Section 549F entitled Human Relations Commission, replacing Section 913 in its entirety with a new Section 913 entitled Human Relations Commission, and deleting Chapter 26 Human Relations Commission in its entirety. And there is the attachment. Okay. Manager Elliott, you want to take that?
Sure. Thank you. That's a lot of words to say, and I can tag this in with the next ordinance as well, is that we're making cleaning up some of these ordinances to make sure that they meet our modern needs. And the gist really is that we are moving the Human Relations Commission from one chapter into our Citizen Committees chapter with some edits to modernize it and to make sure that it meets current standards and practices. And then also kind of reducing some of our committee again by combining them with other committees. So this would hopefully make our citizen committees more effective and make the most of the time that they have. So
appreciate that. One of the things that I let's vote on it. We can talk about this. I'll bring it up later. Any questions? Commissioner Areman, sorry, I couldn't remember your name.
Thank you. Just for everyone's benefit, and following on Manager Elliott's eloquent explanation of what we're doing here, this was the topic of much conversation last month, and as part of the process of passing or considering an ordinance, it has to be advertised, and then once it's advertised for a certain period of time, then it comes back to us. So these two 3A and B items were discussed last month at length, and there's a fairly good explanation in those from those meetings. And this is just now that it's been advertised. There have been no changes to the ordinances as proposed last month. Now it's back before us for recommendation to the board, and then ultimately a vote next week on passage of this ordinance. So just want to give a little more color to the explanation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Make any other questions? Commissioners, public. All right, I'd like to make a motion to recommend that we move this to the legislative meeting next week. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, let's move to 3B. Same thing. I'll make a motion to consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 5, Administration of Government, Article 7, Advisory Board and Commissions, Section 549, Boards and Commissions enumerated, Chapter 5, Administration of Government, Article 8, Administration of Government, Section 5-56, Industrial Development Authority, Chapter 9, Advisory Boards and Commissions, Sections 9 to 5, 6, 7, 12, 14, 15, and 16, to facilitate amendments regarding the Historical Commission, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Committee, Economic Development Task Force, Civil Rights Task Force, Twinning Committee, and the operation and membership of Citizens Advisory Committees, and deleting Chapter 62, Task Forces in its entirety. We'll send it back to Manager Elliott.
Yeah. So, like I said, most of our ordinances, or the ordinances that affect our citizens advisory committees, are outlined in Chapter 5 and 9. And again, this is just kind of updating some of the language and adding and clarifying some of the duties of some of these citizens advisory committees, the Industrial Development Authority, Economic Development Task Force, are two, and the Historical Commission are three that received some additional edits to them. Some of them had very unwieldy, large memberships. One had up to like 35 members, so we're making that a little bit more manageable, both for recruiting and retaining members and also managing quorum. And then this also will combine the duties of the Citizens Rights Task Force into the Human Relations Commission, and the Twinning Committee into the Historical Commission. I believe that's everything. And again, there is a PowerPoint that accompanied the presentation at the March Public Affairs Committee. If anyone is interested in looking back at it, there's always a video, but the PowerPoint also summarizes the information.
So thank you very much. And I think this is all excellent. I'm glad we're doing this and clearing things up. There was, just for the board's benefit, there was some I guess, inquiry from the Historical Commission about this. They are asking for us to take a deeper dive into their mission. Right now, their mission is simply to identify old buildings. Like, that's literally all that our ordinance says for them to do. And they do a lot more than that. They host events, they host lectures, youth festivals. And I think that it's worth, and I think Director Salvatore might be having a meeting with them, or maybe some of his staff is going to have a meeting with them, maybe to try to identify how we can beef up their duties in our ordinances. So this is just kind of a quick thing to add the Twinning Committee to them, but I would like to definitely put that on our radar, because they do so much, and I think, you know, a lot more than just identifying old buildings. So, all right. So I make a motion to recommend that we adopt this ordinance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And before we go on to 4, I would like to bring up kind of old business, and it ties into the kind of the dissolving of the Citizens Rights Task Force and the Human Rights Commission. So this time last year, the Civil Rights Task Force was actively involved in 2 things. One, they were planning for the Pride flag raising ceremony, as well as the Juneteenth flag raising ceremony. We are now midway through April. And so Pride Month starts June 1. I don't think we have a committee or of anybody that is kind of working towards that. And so, you know, I think we probably can maybe pull something together with staff and maybe volunteers from the board, perhaps, for both the Juneteenth as well as Pride. So if anyone wants to perhaps meet with me offline at another time to figure out a way that we can make sure that that tradition continues this year as well. So, all right. Let's move on to...
You have a question?
No, I'm raising my hand to be included, Jeff. I'll stand with you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Awesome. I appreciate it. All right, that's one of you. I'll write you down. All right, let's move on to new business. 4A, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners enter into a licensing agreement allowing Minuteman Press of Glenside, PA to sell merchandise using the township's brand with a portion of proceeds coming from, or I should say going to the township, I think. Going to the township, I think that's supposed to say. So we have a show and tell here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to send it back to Ms. Walter.
Thank you. When we did the branding project last year, it was, oh, I have to request to share my screen here. It was always something that was in mind that we wanted to do a merchandise store to bring everyone in to the community pride that a new brand can bring. And I've evaluated a couple options of potential vendors for this. So it's a print on demand model, which means that the township does not put any money up front, and we do not acquire any inventory. It is all based on an order. So can you all see the screen?
Yep, it's coming.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. So another exciting thing about it is after evaluating vendors, it was found that our Minuteman Press of Glenside, they are the Abington Glenside, but we love them. They're valuable printing partners already of the township, and they were able to get permissions to set this up for us from Minuteman headquarters. So I have worked with Lynn over at Minuteman to dream this up as a mock for you guys. And I mean, scrolling through some of these, let me know if you want to click on it, but kind of a lot of options here. And we can hear some of the board's opinions. We can get resident feedback. I think we've already seen some on Facebook already, which has kind of led us to a few designs. We got a V-neck, and some of these were Lynn's ideas too, and I love that. So it's a great collaboration. Great uses of our two different logos and our little features that we have here. Little swirls, little swag. But you click in, you'll be able to choose colors. It'll put the logo on in the correct color for you. And then we have set up the revenue share. So a small markup goes to Minuteman and a small markup will come to the township. Now, we're not going to be funding a new trash truck with the revenue that we generate on this, but any little bit helps. And it's going to be really great to see everyone getting to share in the hard work that we did to bring this brand to life.
Ms. Walter, do we have to pay Minuteman to set this all up, or is this just they
No,
do this and
so
then
this
they'll-
is a zero base for the township, and then Minuteman will get revenue upon orders the same as the township does.
And if there are designs that you or the community, puts together at some point that we want to include in, that's all doable, that we can make that happen.
Yes, we do not have any product number limits as to what we can have on here. We can come up with new designs, new products. We are limited to what the host site offers, and that is currently Printful is what this is set up towards. So, for instance, we looked at doing sweatpants. They only come in white. I don't know why. I think, gray and black and navy sweatpants are fairly common, but for some reason they come in white. So that's why you're not seeing sweatpants on here right now. But it doesn't mean not to ask. Definitely connect with me and we can see what Lynn and I can dream up. I would like to even do some special like Fall Fest, summer kickoff designs. It is a printing area on the shirt. We can do sleeves, the back, the front, but not full bleed. So there's some limitations, but it's a fairly standard kind of store for this type of thing.
This is super exciting. Great job. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this is going to be, I can't wait to get all my Christmas gifts from here. Commissioner Jeremy Walls, do you have a question?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Am I off mute? Yeah. Okay. This is fantastic. I just had a question about shipping. So is shipping an added cost for the purchaser? And is there any option for like pickup since we're so local?
That is a great question that I can take back to them. It is an added cost to the purchaser, yes. But I don't know if the product gets sent to the Glenside location first, in which case a pickup will be possible. So I will bring that back to Lynn to find that out.
Awesome. Thank you.
I should mention that Lynn and her husband who own that are residents of Wyncote. So while their store is in Abington, they have Cheltenham pride. So we're happy about that. Commissioner Dwight Pedro Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you. This is excellent. Great work, Lauren, and for even taking it to this level. And I'm sure it's even going to grow beyond this. What about golf shirts with monogramming? Is that a possible option down the road, if not now?
I don't know if I know what you mean by that.
So I'm a golf shirt like Commissioner Norris has on. It says Cheltenham Township Commissioner Dwight Pedro Lewis.
I will look into that. I think currently in this setup, there's not a way to add an additional, like we can build out this print, but then it's what it is here. So that's something that I think Lynn would have to take then back to this company that hosts the site to see if there's any options where we would be able to put names.
Thank you.
Ms. Commissioner Norris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Walter, excellent job. This is very nicely done, and a big thank you to you, a tribute to the good work that you do, and it should help increase pride in Cheltenham. So, a small financial question: is there a set percentage that the township receives?
We discussed a 25% markup. And that's what all of the prices that you see in this store have been set to at this point. So it's the base price, and then they mark it up by 50%, and Minuteman gets 25, we get 25. At any time, we can also run a promotion, and we can say we're having a summer kickoff sale and mark it down by 10%, and then that will come out of the township's share. But if there are certain items where we feel it would be, we can make an adjustment because it's an inexpensive product and we could maybe get another $1, we could bump it up to 30%. So the solicitor did draft the agreement, and it's been looked at by Minuteman as well, and arranged it in a way that can be flexible.
Thank you. Very fair and very reasonable.
Wonderful. Any other questions from the board? And any questions from the public? Guessing not. Amazing job. I'm thrilled. Thank you so much. And this is going onto our website shortly, I guess?
After approval at the board meeting.
That's right. That's why we're here. All right, let's go for it. I'm going to make a motion to consider recommending that the board enter into a licensing agreement allowing Minuteman Press to sell merchandise using the township's brand. All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Nice job. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to 4B. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Beaver Home Improvement LLC in the amount of $39,830.20 for the Glenside Hall roof replacement project. Mr. Brown, do you want to talk about this? Or is that the right person, I'm guessing?
I can take it.
Okay.
So the township set out a bid for replacing part of the roof for Glenside Hall, which is basically the section of the roof over the hall itself. It's currently a slate roof that is, I don't know if it's original, but it's old enough that it is having some issues. So this is a replacement of that section with asphalt shingles. The bid went out and we received four 4 proposals. The lowest bid went to Beaver Home Improvement LLC for $39,830.20, which is right around where we budgeted, which is really fantastic. So we have reviewed their proposal. It seems to meet all of our criteria and are recommending awarding the contract.
Any questions from my fellow commissioners? From the community? All right, then I'll make a motion.
Commissioner, can I add something?
Of course you can. Yeah, go for it.
So we did write into the bid documents that it will be completed or is to be completed before the start of sports camp in Glenside. So it will be a pretty aggressive project.
Wonderful. So that means that starts in, I guess, what, mid-June, I'm taking it?
I believe once you vote on it next week, then we can
No, I meant
issue a notice to proceed. Yeah, camp starts June 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I will make that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Let's move on to 4C. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution authorizing submission of a grant application under the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnership Program in the amount of $250,000 to replace the Wall Park Once Upon a Playground. Wow. Mr. Salvatore, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so this is deeply personal to folks, which I realize. The wooden playground at Wall Park, much like many wooden playgrounds across the country, is at its end of life. Replacing boards consistently from Bob Dominik's team is just not sustainable. The price of lumber is going up, and it's time to evaluate what's going on down there and think about replacing it. So this is our attempt at, a pretty significant grant to make that happen. And I believe we're just asking for a resolution as part of the grant documents. Allison can confirm that. But yeah, I mean, it's in dire need. And if you came to any of the park history lectures, my feeling on this is that Wall Park can be a destination and a destination playground that promotes not just Parks and Rec, but promotes economic development and a great place to live. So that's kind of where we're going with it.
Do you have, is it too early to talk about any sort of like, what your intentions are for like how to replace it?
Yeah, so it would be in the same vein as that playground. It probably wouldn't be wood because that's just not sustainable, but it would be 100% ADA accessible, which is super important in this day and age. And also, we would move away from the engineered wood fibers that you see everywhere that we have to pour at a 12-inch depth at every playground, which is pretty cost prohibitive, to a poured in place, which has about a 15-year to 20-year lifespan.
Okay. Awesome. That's exciting. I know Bill and I spoke about this the other day. He was concerned that people would be upset about this. I think most of the people who are involved in this initial construction, their children are now bringing their children to this park. So I think the time has come for this. So I will make that motion to consider that the board adopt a resolution authorizing a grant application in the amount of $250,000 to replace the Wall Park playground. All those. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Norris, my apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I certainly understand and know that the park is in need of fixing, and I'm supportive of going after the grant. But a question, Bill, and perhaps it's too early, but would there be any attempt to retain or do something to recognize some of the donors who have their names throughout the park?
Commissioner Norris, absolutely. We walked through the park this morning, me and Bill Coyle and Bob Dominik, and we decided that we'd pull every single plaque off of every bench, and we would take every name off of every wooden slat and figure out a way to memorialize all those folks who put their blood, sweat, and tears into it back in 2004.
Thank you. Very thoughtful.
And and to that, will there be a requirement for a match for this?
There is a requirement for a match. Once we secure it, then that would be something we would bring forth during budget season.
Okay.
One of the things that is kind of interesting here is that there is a demolition and a removal and disposal of what's currently there that we could do in kind as part of that match. So it may not be as significant as $250,000. We'd have to price that out if we receive the grant.
And another question, 30 years ago or whenever when this was built, obviously the community stepped up and donated a lot of money.
Right.
Is there can you envision a campaign in which we would ask for the current parents of children using this playground to also make contributions of some sort, or at least involve them in some way?
Yeah, I 100% am behind that. The question becomes, and this is a larger conversation around our strategy with this, right? Like there's talk of, do we ask for capital, do we do a capital campaign for a gym at Lemont or Roland? Do we do a capital campaign for a playground? Like, so what does this look like on a grander scale? We need to really think about this township wide. I'm not opposed to doing it just for Wall Park, but I don't want to lose sight of what we're going to go looking for money for at other amenities.
Of course.
Thank you.
Understood.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Commissioner Chairman Wallace, you had your hand up.
No, you got me. I wanted to talk about running a public campaign for some of our facilities opportunities, and I'm all over that. So you covered it.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions, commissioners, public? All right. I made a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's move on to 4D. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners appoint Daria Kachmar of Wyncote to be a voting member on the Board of Historical and Architectural Review. All right, any questions, any comments? I see Daria here. Hi, Daria. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Any other old business, or was that new business? Any other new business that anyone wants to bring up before we move on? All right, let's move on to announcements. Do we have any announcements? There it is. Commissioner Areman, go for it.
You almost forgot my name again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a fairly big announcement, and I wish there were more people on the meeting this evening, but I'm sure that the information will be out there, and it'll get a lot of attention in the coming days and weeks. And this is not it's the first time, but it's not the last time we'll discuss this matter. So I just want to say that since the commencement and presentation of our facilities study back in 2023, this board and prior boards have continuously evaluated potential solutions and financial opportunities to address our aging infrastructure in the most cost-effective and conscientious manner possible, with particular focus on our community spaces. I'm happy to announce tonight a new and exciting update on that front. Even as we make significant progress towards the rebuilding and improvements of the Lemont Community Center, we have also turned our sights on community facilities on the east side of the township. As many of you know from recent meetings and the township newsletter, a public design process will commence later this summer for renovations to the Roland Community Center. Adding to that focus on our community facilities, tonight I'm pleased to announce that Cheltenham Township has developed plans to open a brand new state-of-the-art public pool at the Melrose Country Club redevelopment site to ultimately replace the Conklin Pool. Now, this decision comes after a great deal of planning, careful consideration, and cost analyses among the board and among staff. Now, Conklin Pool has been a beloved part of our community for many generations. It's a source of many smiles and lifelong friendships. It's where families have gathered, children have learned to swim, and many lasting memories have been formed. And while Conklin Pool, the place, continues to be a shining gem in our community, Conklin Pool, the facility, as was evident in its delayed opening several summers ago, has reached the end of its lifespan, presenting ongoing and significant maintenance issues that are only getting worse. The Conklin facility has ongoing leaks, aging mechanical systems, and other equipment failures that ultimately need a complete replacement. The cost to fully repair and modernize Conklin are estimated at $8 million plus and simply are not fiscally feasible. Faced with this critical issue, the township secured a partnership with the Melrose developer to secure land to build a state-of-the-art pool, lap pool, and kiddie pool with associated facilities that'll cost about $4.5 million. This is a fiscally responsible solution given the township's budget constraints. This new community pool represents a once-in-a-generation investment in the township's recreational infrastructure. And while designs are still being finalized, the pool and associated facilities will match or exceed the capacity offered at Conklin and will include a full, as I said, full recreational pool, a dedicated lap pool for swim programs, and a kiddie pool for young children. The new pool facility will be built to today's standards with brand new locker rooms, restrooms, and amenities. And the township will also benefit from energy efficient and sustainable design, lower maintenance costs, and modern systems with the opportunity to expand programming and serve even more residents. The facility will also allow for both ample parking and trail connections, which will create significantly better walkability than is currently available for Conklin. Now, details will follow in the coming months about the timeline, about the development of the pool, and what will happen at the Conklin site. And as for the pool at the Melrose location, we're looking at a 2027 opening, and we're committed to keeping the public well informed throughout the process. Know that it is not the township's plan to be without a pool on the east side for any summer period. So Conklin will remain online until the new pool facility is opened. And to the extent this is our final summer at Conklin, we look forward to honoring our beautiful history there by making many more lasting memories together, and look forward to a future with an updated modern pool that serves all the residents of Cheltenham, in particular, those on the east side of the township. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that opportunity to make that announcement. I'm sure there will be a number of comments over the coming weeks. There will be information up on our website, and certainly you can reach out to staff and your commissioner if you have questions or comments on this exciting new development. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a great move for this township. I mean, fiscally, it makes a ton of sense to be able to provide a state-of-the-art pool and do so without having to break the bank right here. So this is exciting, and hopefully for the rest of the community as well. Commissioner Lewis, do you have a question, comment, or do you have additional old announcements to make?
Additional announcement.
Go for it.
Okay. Fight blight. Township cleanup this Saturday, April 18th from 10 to noon. We've had a team of folks doing some extraordinary work to get us to this point. Maybe someone can help me with the number of locations, but we have over 126 people that have registered. I met with the general manager of the company that maintains the property for sepulture, and they're on board to do what's necessary to be a very good partner in this township. So they'll be cleaning up either prior to and or on Saturday. And I'll be meeting with him in person to talk about how they can become partners with the township. They are willing to support the township, to get more involved, more engaged. So I'm excited about that opportunity. Highway, in addition to all the locations that we will be cleaning up, Highway will be dealing with graffiti and litter in areas that people can't walk or it's not safe for people to walk. And even though we have 126 plus people, I'm sure a lot of folks haven't registered. We still welcome more volunteers. We have some friendly competition going on. And in that spirit, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Walls.
My numbers are pretty significant for my group. So I'm just giving a shout out to anyone who's going to join us at Ogont this weekend. I'm excited to see you out there. I also was raising my hand because I just wanted to point out to Matt that there was a question in the chat about the long-term plan for the property at Conklin that I just thought you might want to take a second to address.
Yeah, so that is an ongoing conversation. We do not necessarily at this point have any plans in one direction or another, but that will be the part of additional conversations in public with the public, and as we develop a strategic vision for that parcel. There's been lots of different suggestions that have already been made from the public. I'm not going to sort of highlight any of them yet, but if anyone does have suggestions, certainly please feel free to share them with the board. All recommendations and suggestions are welcome and will help us to inform how we go forward. Thanks, Commissioner.
All right. Any other announcements? All right. We'll close that. Now let's open Citizens Forum. Does any citizen have a comment to make tonight on anything that we discussed tonight or anything at all? Daria, go for it.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can now.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank you all for supporting Fight Blight. This is really important for the township. Commissioner Lewis has taken this on, and I am really thrilled with you, Commissioner, and Emily, with taking this under your wing. It's critical for our township to be viewed as a gateway to the entire community, and there are certain areas that are unaddressed that we're hoping to bring the corporate sponsors or local township boards into the fold to maintain their own properties. So that I just wanted to thank Commissioner Lewis for that.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Any other comments? All right. I'm closing Citizens Forum, and I'd like to make a motion for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.